Hey everybody, and welcome to a Cricut craft tutorial. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe to my channel. It's totally free and a great way to support me here on YouTube, and it would mean the world to me to have you as part of my crafty family here. In today's video, we are going to do something really fun. It was kind of an experiment, but it worked, so I'm really excited to show you guys how to do something like this. It's super fun and super easy. We're going to use some printable iron-on. This is Printable HTV from StarCraft, and we're going to layer it. See how it's kind of shiny? This is a glitter overlay, and this is done with Sparkle by Siser. I'm going to show you how easy this really is to do, and it comes out so beautiful. It's really a way that you can use to like step up your printable product, and I washed this and tested it, and it washes beautifully. So this is a really fun thing that we can do. So we're going to do this on this fun tote bag. I hope you guys can see how glittery this really is, but it's so simple, so fun. So let's get started.
Whatever we would do, we do it just for fun.
We're going to start in Cricut Design Space. Now, I did upload this previously because it was a really large file and took a super long time to upload. So just keep that in mind. If you're going to do print then cut, especially using sublimation designs like this one, it might take a while to upload. So one thing to note with the Cricut Design Space print then cut is it can only do 6.75 by 9.25. So you'll see here that we do have this little error. And if you click on that, it'll actually tell you why you're getting that error. So it says that our image is too large and we need to reduce the size. So I know that my width needs to be 6.75 at its widest. So we'll just go ahead and change that and we're good to go. Now, you'll notice that we have like white spaces and stuff in here because this is a sublimation print. So what I want to do is check to make sure none of that is actually transparent, meaning that we can see through it, because if we can see through it, Cricut Design Space is going to think that we need it cut out, which we don't. So what I want to do is I'm going to go down to the bottom here where it says blank canvas, and up at the top it'll say color. This is actually going to change the color of the background. This is a super fun little hack that you guys can use to kind of visualize your images on things as well. So this will just help us check to see if we see any purple in any of the white spots. I don't, which is great, but I think I do want to add just a slight offset to make sure that like little spots like this look like they're more intentional rather than just a piece that it didn't cut quite right. So I'm going to select my design and then I want to click on the word offset. Now I'm going to use a very, very small offset. I'm going to use a 0.01 size offset. Click enter and then click apply. Now you'll see you have this very subtle black edge, which is exactly what I wanted. It's not, anything too crazy. So what I'm going to do now is select both pieces and I want to click the word flatten down here on the layers panel. Now it is a little bit too big because we added that offset, so we just need to go back up and resize it back down to 6.75. All we have to do from here is click make it, and you'll see that it's going to bring up our little print screen, which will show you, hopefully, the apple that it's going to print. Sometimes it takes a few seconds, so don't freak out if it doesn't show up right away. Just give it a minute and it will come up. Now what we'll do here is click continue, and we need to click on send to printer. I use my system dialog to make sure that this comes out in its best form, and I have an Epson ET2720 that I use for my inkjet prints, which this is an inkjet print, and we're printing this on 4 darks, so you can use this. You don't have to mirror it, you don't have to do anything too special to it. So what I'm going to do is select to turn on my system dialog, and I'm going to click the word print. What's going to happen is it's now going to bring up a preferences box for my printer where it's going to give me lots of different options that I can choose so that my printer will print out my image. This is a great way to make sure that you're going to get the best quality out of your print every single time. Once your box comes up, it should look very similar to mine, and what you're going to do is click the word preferences. Now keep in mind you can't do this kind of setup from the app. This can only be done from our desktop. So what I'm going to do first is I like to usually change this to the presentation paper matte. It seems to give me a really good color and everything, and then I change my quality to high. One more place you want to go is into your more options, because my printer has a high speed option. I want to turn that off. Leaving the high-speed option on can tend to lead to those lines in your images, which is not what we want. Then just click print, send it to the printer, and I'll show you our next steps. Once it's printed, you're going to want to check and set your material. So what we use is rice paper for this. It works really, really well. So I'm just gonna search for the word rice and it should bring up rice paper. Go ahead and click done, and we can go ahead and load the machine. I'm gonna show you guys how it reads the marks, and then we are gonna need to cut this on the Siser Sparkle because we're gonna do the sparkle overlay for this. So I'll show you guys how to set that cut up as well. I'm using a relatively not sticky mat, but you'll want to use either a pretty not sticky standard grip mat or the blue cardstock mat. And what you'll do is you're going to line up your paper as straight as you can along your mat here. And I just try to line it up as straight as possible with the edges. It doesn't have to be perfect, but the closer you can get it, the better for Cricut. And then I'm going to go ahead and just press this down. Now I'm using my Maker 3 for this, but you can do this with the Explorer, Maker, whatever you have. But I'm going to give you a quick tip. These little white wheels, move them to where they're not going to be touching your design. So I like to push mine all the way over this direction. That way they don't run over your print because they can actually damage it. So just be aware of that and move them off of the image. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and load this. I am going to turn my overhead lights off, so it might get a little bit dark. But I want you guys to be able to see the light that turns on in the center here. That is how it's going to read the registration box that it printed out. So I wanted you guys to be able to see this light. You'll see the light turn on here in just a second. It is going to read all the lines, and then it is going to check the tool, and then it will cut around our apple. Once it's done, you can go ahead and unload, and we'll go ahead and scoot the machine out of the way because I'm going to show you a quick trick to getting this to weed properly. All right, friends, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. So the rice paper setting didn't work. Washi sheet with more pressure cut twice is the only way I got this to cut out. And I had to check the cut by peeling the backing off, which this is not the right way to do this. But this seems to be like the only way I'm going to get this off really easily. So what I'm going to do, please don't do this. This is not right. But if this is something that happens to you, this is a way that you can kind of work around it. So peel off your backing first. And do that slowly because you'll like kind of feel that it's like still a little bit not cut all the way through. So you want to do it really slow. And as you're going around, kind of follow the line like direction, and like you see in this corner, like it cut, but it didn't cut real good, so we're gonna kind of have to maybe cut that a little bit with our scissors. So what I'm gonna do is, again, I'm just gonna follow the lines. So pull the paper in the direction that the line goes best you can, that way it's not gonna rip your design. So once you have that off, this guy does not require the transfer backing, so the heat transfer mask. So we're not going to use that, but we'll go ahead and set him to the side so you can actually just peel him off just like this now. But I'm going to leave him on here just for a few minutes because we're going to cut out the Siser Twinkle, which is the glitter overlay for our design, and it's going to look really, really cool on top of this. So I'm going to show you guys how to cut this part out next. Now that we've printed our little apple and he's good to go, what we're gonna actually do is select our apple over on our layers tab, and I'm going to kind of move him a little bit. What I wanna do is I'm gonna click unflatten, and that's gonna give us the two pieces of our apple. We actually only need this piece. So you can just hide him over here just by using the little eyeball. And then you just wanna make sure that this is set to cut. So under operation, just change it to the basic cut. Now you'll see that it's got kind of a weird shape. It's a funky shape. It is what it is. But with this, because this is HTV, we do need to mirror this image. So what I'm gonna do is flip it, and I'm gonna flip it horizontally. That way it cuts the right direction so that when we lay it on top of our printable, it will be the correct direction. So what I'm gonna do now is click Make It, and this cuts on the everyday iron-on setting, so it's really easy. This cuts really nicely. This is a lot easier than the printable to get to cut. Sometimes it's just a little bit finicky when you're working with a product, and sometimes you just have to try different cut settings and things like that to get it to cut through. But this works really good on everyday iron-on, so we're gonna go ahead and select that and get that cut out, and then we can get everything pressed. We're ready to cut out our Siser Sparkle. So this is the Siser Sparkle, and you wanna make sure that you cut it with the carrier sheet side down. You can just peel a corner to figure out which side is the carrier sheet side. And I am just gonna put this on my mat, lay it down, and then load it into my machine. And with these mats, it doesn't matter which direction you load it, whether it's the bottom or the top that goes in, as long as it goes in that way with the numbers on the sides here. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this cut out, and then we can get everything pressed. Now that we've gotten this all cut out on our machine, we need to weed this portion, which is really simple. Like I said, this is just like any other HTV. This one does press at 305 degrees for 15 to 20 seconds. So I'm gonna go ahead and just trim around this. I pretty much save these little pieces for scraps and things. So if I wanted to do like a smaller glitter overlay. So now we need to get this off before we press it. So what we're gonna do is I am just gently going to peel this away from the backing. So you'll wanna do this really, really slowly, and I have it flipped upside down so that I'm not pulling off my design. Like I don't wanna pull this part, but I just wanna gently kind of remove the back from the design. So you'll just do this as gently as you can. You don't wanna rip anything. And because this is one big single piece, you don't need to worry about like the transfer mask, so it's real easy. And then I'm gonna press this on to this really fun, just black tote. Nothing crazy, nothing too fancy. So I did lint roll this, and I just am gonna kind of lay this guy down, making sure that the seams are out of the way. I will readjust to where I wanna place this when I get it put onto my press. But this is gonna be really, really cute, and this glitter overlay is really going to make this pop and make it really extra special. So let's go over to the heat press. It's all ready to go, and we can press this. Now that we're at 350, I do have a pressing pillow under this. I recommend a pressing pillow for your heat press. What I'm gonna do is I use these, so the little like handles where they have them sewn, to sort of get this evened out where I want it. And I do try to make sure that my those little tabs for that are off the like pressing pillow, because they are pretty thick and heavy. And then we also have the seams down here at the bottom, which can be pretty thick. So I do recommend like popping those out, making sure that those are not sitting too much onto your like pressing pillow, because you want to get pretty good pressure. So it looks good. I think I like where it's placed. He looks like maybe I can move him up just a little bit. I want to make sure that his leaf is laying flat. All right, we are good to go. Now we do have a Teflon sheet on our heat press, and we need to press this for 30 seconds, which I think I forgot to set my timer. So I'm gonna go ahead and check that. I just need to up my timer 10 seconds. That's an easy fix. No big deal, and we are good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and press this for 30 seconds. Now that that's done, go ahead and pull your press up. You may have some steam coming off of it, some heat. It is going to be very, very warm. So the next step that we are going to do with this is I'm going to turn my heat press down. So all you have to do to turn this press down is hit the set button and then hit the down arrow. And I need to go down to 305. And then I do need to reset my time, so hit set again, hit the down arrow, and I only need to press this for 15 to 20 seconds, so I'm gonna go about like 17. Hit set again, and set again, and set again, and then we're gonna let this cool down so that we can press the glitter overlay. The cooling does take a little bit of time, so while it's finishing up the last few degrees that it needs to go, this is pretty cool now. It's still warm, but it's not anything crazy. So what we'll do here is we're going to line up our little glitter overlay onto our design. Now this should lay pretty darn even and accurate onto our little apple. So what I'm going to do is press this down a little bit so it stays. Now I did accidentally cut the little edge off. I feel really bad. I cut him. So he's going to have a little piece that doesn't have any glitter. That was my fault. I got a little careless with my scissors, but it happens. So we're going to go ahead and wait for this to finish cooling, and then we can press this part next. We have cooled it down, so we're going to go ahead and press this for about 15 to 20 seconds. Now that it's done, go ahead and pop that up, and we can peel this off. You want to peel gently. And I'm going to let this cool down because this is really, really warm. And I'll move it over to the table so we can see how glittery it is. I've let this cool down so that you guys could see this and I could handle it a little easier. But do you see that glitter? Look how pretty. This is such a fun way that you can use Printable HTV and really add that little bit of sparkle so that it just stands out and it's a little more special. Again, I used the StarCraft Printable HTV for darks, a tote bag. This is just a canvas cotton tote bag. And then I used Siser Sparkle in the clear color. So this is really fun. I'll link everything that I used down below for you. This is just a really cool way that you guys can use these fun products together to make something just a little more fun and interesting. And of course, I love to add glitter to everything. If you are somebody who loves glitter, let me know in those comments down below. I hope you guys had so much fun. Have a wonderful day and happy crafting.